This is On the Mark. Pleased to be joined. It's not every day we get a Hall of Famer in studio. Fergie Jenkins is here. 284 wins, over 3,000 strikeouts, 4,500 innings. I did the math, by the way. That's 15 wins a year over your 19-year career. And look at you. You got your Cubs World Series ring on. That's amazing, and I'm sure you were super pleased to receive that from Tom Ricketts and the club.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's an outstanding ring. And these young men really played extremely well last summer to win 103 ball games, 2 wild card playoffs, and then the World Series. I mean, I was really proud to be a part of it.
You guys walked in, your crew here, and it was in a box, and it's got lights, and it's got a magnet, all sorts of stuff. Are you planning on wearing it, or are you keeping it in a safe spot?
Well, for special events, I'll bring it out and wear it. But most of the time, it's in the box. It's a little big to be wearing, and it's noticeable. Believe me.
Yeah, it is. And what's the ball that you're holding to there?
This is a new ball that we're going to display tonight at a tavern in Skokie. The nice thing about it, it has the stats on one panel and the Hall of Fame. I'm in 2 Hall of Fames, one Canadian, one U.S., and a picture of myself when I was very, very young.
Yeah. What year is that picture from?
It's probably 1970.
Okay.
Before I grew a mustache.
Okay. So, hey, let's talk about what's going on in baseball. I want to get into some Cubs stuff a little bit later. But so I'm sure you're paying attention to what's going on in Boston, and it's been Chris Sale throwing 98 miles behind a player. It's a curveball 77 miles an hour, and players getting kicked out. Back in your day, I mean, you guys would go at certain players, right? What's your take on how the baseball commissioner is getting involved? Your thoughts on the way baseball is policed today? Well,
at one time, we did it ourselves because of the fact that the umpires didn't criticize us for pushing people off the plate. Take, for example, Ronnie, Bonsano, or Ernie, or Billy got pushed off the plate. It was my job to get their respect. I got the opportunity to do it maybe to the opposing team or to wait for the pitcher. Right. If the pitcher was a headhunter, I waited for him. Biggest thing is you didn't want your players to get hurt, so the retaliation was to let them know we're going to stop it right now. We're not going to continue, and we don't want to brawl on the field.
Well, and this one all started with Manny Machado sliding over the bag at second with the spikes up, but it really wasn't a malicious play at all. I thought it was pretty benign. And so I look at it like, why are you guys today on some level just softer than the players when you played? Why does it impact them? I mean, watching that play, if that happened when you were playing, I don't think it would be a big deal.
Well, they would let it go. I remember seeing Harrelson and Pete Rose having an incident in Shea Stadium. But the slide, I seen it on video, he did hit him in the back of the leg. Right. Spikes were up. And that's something that you don't like to see happen, to take a player out of a game or out of a series because of the fact that you're the culprit sliding in and he gets hurt. So to retaliate, they're going to say, we're going to throw at you, which is not the right thing to do. If you're going to do anything, hey, let it happen a month from now, but not do it in the same game because they know it's a vicious thing. Now it's a vendetta.
So, okay, so if you were pitching in the game, you wouldn't have done anything then, but maybe a month later if you were on the mound?
I might retaliate a month later. We had playing in the series just to let them know, hey, you took one of our players out. And when you throw behind them, what use is a pitch behind you? It doesn't even scare the player.
So is he throwing behind because he's missing? Or is he throwing?
He didn't want to hit him. That's the reason why.
Really? Okay. Because if you wanted to hit somebody, professional player, you're going to hit him.
As a pitcher, you can hit anybody you want. You can hit him in the hip, back, in the shoulder. If you're a headhunter, then you get to the part where it's really malicious, and you're going to hurt somebody. You could end their career. Right.
Okay. Here, let's talk about the speed of the game. So a lot of baseball wants things to move along. First of all, are you on board with that baseball needs to be quicker, or do you think it's fine as it is?
I think the control is done by the pitcher. The pitcher speeds the game up, he slows the game up, and the tempo of the game belongs to him when you're out there. Now, there's no clock in baseball, and now they want to speed it up 2 innings between innings, 20 seconds between pitches. I'm not really sure if that's going to help the game or not.
If you had a pitch clock on you, would that have bothered you?
No, not at all. Because I pitch pretty quick.
Right.
You get the sign from your catcher, either Randy Hundley or whoever it was catching at the time.
So do you mind, okay, so a batter, Fergie throws a fastball down the middle, steps out of the box, fixes his batting gloves, thinks about his taxes, and then he gets back in there. I mean, I don't think my point is I don't think they should be able to step out of the box.
Well, it really depends on the individual. If he feels uncomfortable between pitches, he can adjust his gloves. They do a lot of it, their shoulder, their helmet. So that's just part of the game.
Okay. How about the intentional walk? No more 4 pitches. Just go to first.
Yeah, that's something that they think is going to help the game, but it's not. The marketing part of the advertisement between hitters, between innings, that controls the game. That makes it longer. But for someone to say, hey, go to first, that's not going to help.
Do you think a pitcher should be able to throw at a batter and not get kicked out of the game, going back to that?
It's basically back to the retaliation part of it. If one of your players gets thrown at, I think because of the fact that you got to give your player respect, he's going to respect you because you've got his back.
Right.
So you retaliate the next inning, or as I said, you wait for the pitcher.
Okay, fair enough.
Especially in the National League.
Yeah, I see. How about a guy? Okay, let's do this. Batter hits a home run, stands there, watches it, sails into the night. Then he starts to run. Are you going to retaliate against that guy?
Maybe the next time he comes up, just to let him know.
Okay.
Because he showed you up.
But so, okay, the World Baseball Classic happens, in the spring this year. There's so much enthusiasm in the game. And I think like fans want to see that rather than, you hit it, you run around the bases and your head's down and then let's move along. Like I get the respect of the game, but I think people also like to see the personality. Like you see it in basketball all the time. I feel like baseball, there's an old school nature. You're an old school guy where it's like they're maybe creeping out of it. Mm-hmm. Does it bother you? If a guy's showing a little more flair?
No, not really. Everybody has a personality. A lot of these guys are showmen when they hit. Reggie Jackson was one when he hit. Right. Willie Mays when he ran the bases. Clemente running the bases, throwing the ball from the outfield. So everybody has that little mystique, what they try to, I think persona is on the field.
Right.
And they give it, it's an audience game.
Yeah.
The fans love that. But for you to stand and watch a ball, sure, that's not classic.
Right.
So you never kinda shows up the pitcher.
You never walked off the mound after an inning and kind of.
No, I never did.
Always, your head was always down.
Looking to the sky. I mean, hey, I got the ability to get you out. Let's get in the dugout and relax.
Right.
Wait for the next inning.
Yeah.
It's just something that they started doing it. Now every player does it.
Let's talk off the field in Boston. Adam Jones being the N-words being thrown out from the stands. And I'm sure you heard it when you were a player.
Right.
And I think we're seeing some progress here. He talks about it to the media. I mean, would you have ever gone to the media after the game in whatever city and say, "Hey, I was called X,
No, it's really an individual thing. I heard it in the minor leagues.
Okay.
Because my career was in the South. I started off in Miami and then Chattanooga and Little Rock. Played with Dick Allen. Right. He was there in Little Rock. I never heard it in the big leagues. I played 2 years in Boston. Never heard it. It really depends. One fan is not going to like you, so he thinks by saying something is going to get under your skin, maybe throw you off your game. And that never happened because I was focused to play the game. He should be focused. Jones ought to be focused. Adam Jones.
Right.
You're out there. You're going to get 3 or 4 at bats. You're an important part of the team.
Huge part, yeah.
If you're the cleanup hitter, your job is to drive runs in, to play great defense, and to be offensive.
Yeah. And
he could throw you off your game by saying, "Hey, I'm going to get under your skin by just naming you something."
Right.
Which I think you don't let that happen. And if you go to the press, now you've lost the control of what's going on.
Right. I mean, it was cool that he comes up the next day and the Boston fans give him a standing ovation.
I seen that.
Because they're embarrassed. But it's also, right. I think I guess what makes the most sense is what happened the other night there, too. Somebody says something in the stands, and then there's another person in the stands who's alerting security. Right. And I think it would be, I can't put myself in that position, but I would think it would be very hard on one level just to not hear it and not pay attention to it, not give it any energy.
Most athletes have rabbit ears. You hear things.
Yeah.
No matter if there's 40,000 people or 20,000, you're going to hear things. And for another fan to stand up and say, "Hey, I'm here to respect the player, and you're causing a problem." And I think that's understandable if he wants to complain.
And how did you handle it in the minors when you would hear it?
It was something that if it happened in the outfield, just walk to the infield.
Okay.
You might hear a fan screaming at you during the game when you're pitching.
Yeah.
You just got to block it off.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, well, I guess one more part of it. 62 African American players in baseball nowadays. Does that, I mean, does it bother you? I'm assuming you would like to have everybody playing the game, obviously, right?
Sure.
And I mean, I think it's better for the game, clearly, if you have everyone playing. If you were advising on how to up the percentage, what would you say?
Well, the biggest thing, it all starts in the Little League.
Yeah.
You know, starts from Little League to now you get to good high school ball, and your college ball, and if you get the opportunity to sign the pros. So you got to want to play this particular game, baseball. You know, there's so many sports out there. There's golf, football, basketball, soccer. So there's a choice of where you want to display your talent. And I think the individuals that want to play professional baseball, they wholeheartedly work at it.
And you grew up in Canada. You're in the Canadian Hall of Fame, which I think means a lot to you, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, I was a hockey player first and basketball in high school.
Right.
But I chose to play baseball. Baseball ended up being my #1 sport, and I tried to do it as well as I could. And I was very successful because I had good teammates behind me. You know, a pitcher can only wait for good offense and defense. So that's what I had to do.
Right. You also, true story, you were on the Harlem Globetrotters for a couple
of 3 seasons with them, right?
That's unbelievable.
67, 8, and 9. Toured with Meadowlark, Curly, and a bunch of the guys. Yeah.
So hold on, you're winning 20 games for the Cubs, and then in the offseason you're going off to play with the Globetrotters.
I talked to John Holland, who was the general manager. I said, John, I'm not going to be the focal point of the Globetrotters. I'm the pitcher giving up the home run each night to Meadowlark Lemon. But I ended up playing the third quarter each night. And I did a lot of running, kept me in pretty good shape.
Okay.
And I enjoyed playing.
That's awesome. Okay, back on the field. You threw, as we mentioned, 4,500 innings. You threw at, hold on a second, 24 years old, you threw 289, and then at 36, you're throwing 259. I mean, so it's not like, because some people think you have to build up the strength to throw. You were throwing a ton early, and you were throwing a ton late. And of course, back then, it was a 4-man rotation, not a 5-man. Guys nowadays, like 200 is the level. And you were former pitching coach too. So what's your advice, I guess, on A, keeping your arm healthy, and B, you know, is baseball, I know the money is huge, but are they going about it the wrong way as far as how much these guys throw?
Well, it really depends on what kind of shape you're in. I always thought that to be in pitching shape, you could handle the load. I ran all the time. I threw batting practice in between starts.
Wow.
In spring training, I threw a lot. At the most, sometimes in spring training, 35, 40 innings. So I could open up the season being ready for opening day. And Leo would always tell that individual, your opening day pitcher. He's going to be at home or on the road. Same thing with Billy Martin when I was in Texas. Right. So to be ready to play the game, I think you have to be in real good shape. And as I said, I used to run all the time. So the lower half of my body and the core of my body was always strong. I could handle the load, I thought. And I never had any arm problems. 21 years I pitched, never had a sore arm.
Could you get it up there today?
No. The bullets are all gone. They're all gone. I tell people all the time I could probably throw maybe decent batting practice. That's about it.
That's still something. Okay, let's talk Cubs for a second here. Does Sammy Sosa, I want to start with him, in your mind, does he belong in the Hall of Fame?
Well, there's a lot of clouds over his name right now, along with so many other players, McGuire and so many other guys. It's really too bad. You know, if you need chemicals to make you play better, I think it's the wrong thing to do. They took the avenue of looking to get better numbers. Yeah. Makes you get played better. I mean, salaries are very important too, and that's your livelihood. But if you need to take chemicals to perform better, I think everybody notices that, and unfortunately, steroids has been a black mark on baseball.
So as a member of the Hall of Fame, anybody who's around the steroid thing, you don't think they should be in?
It's going to take a little while. They're looking to get higher marks. You know, every year guys get higher marks.
Yeah.
McGuire he's off the ballot now, but you're looking at Clemens and Bonds.
Yeah, they're trending up.
They're still in the 40% range. Who knows?
Yeah.
They need 75% to get in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So there's a big question mark there.
If you had a vote, would you vote for him?
Not really.
Yeah.
Not really. I just think that they were true athletes prior to what the situation happened to them. Yeah. You know, and as I said, why take something that's going to enhance you maybe down the road? Yeah. Big question mark.
Yeah, fair enough. Sammy and the Cubs, should they bring him back to Wrigley, throw out a first pitch?
I think they need to get in contact with Sammy. I mean, he had some great numbers here.
Yeah, you coached him.
I coached him in Texas.
Yeah.
I also coached him with the Cubs.
Right.
I think he's a great personality. Let's see what happens.
2000, what are we in? 17 here, Cubs. Is the pitching good enough in your mind?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I think that they've got the team that could repeat. I think health is a very important thing.
Yeah.
When they hit, I don't think there's anybody in baseball can beat this ball club.
Yeah.
They've got some fantastic hitters.
No doubt.
Guys that know how to put the ball in play, know how to hit home runs, and they're playing in the best ballpark in baseball, Wrigley Field.
Yeah, yeah. So the biggest regret that, and it was such a relief that, you know, I've been a Cub fan my whole life, that they finally got over the top. I thought the biggest regret for me, at least, and I would think it'd be a lot more for you, is like Ernie and Ronnie, those type of, like the people that were not here to see it. Were you feeling that at the time?
Oh, definitely. When we got an opportunity to sit in the dugout, Billy and I were talking.
Yeah.
And I said, man, two guys that deserved to be with us, because we were teammates.
Yeah.
I was teammate and roommate with Ernie for 3.5, 4 years, and I was a teammate of Ronnie's for 8 years.
Yeah.
I played with Rhino for 2 seasons.
Right.
So the Hall of Fame is very important, and two individuals that didn't get a chance to really have that honor, they're not with us anymore.
Yeah, means a lot to Billy.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Billy Williams, he's worked over 50 years in the Cub organization.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Rhino's back with the Cubs again, and I've been with him well over 15 years plus. So, and as a coach and now as an ambassador to the team, I really enjoy what I do.
How do you, when you look at how they're run now as to the past, I mean, can you even compare it?
Well, Mr. Wrigley was kind of an absent owner.
Yeah.
From time to time, you'd see him in the locker room, and I attended Leo's wedding when he was there.
Okay.
Tom Ricketts is really the face of the ball club. He's there all the time.
Yeah.
He enjoys being the owner of the team, and I think that's a big plus.
Yeah, it's cool to see him walk through the crowd and shake hands and all that type of stuff, be accessible. So the Fergie Jenkins Foundation, you're doing great. Always doing great work and out and about. So what would you like to sort of let people know about today?
Well, we're doing this participation tonight.
Yeah.
We're selling this baseball. It'll be on hand for the first time.
It's so cool.
And it is. I mean,
look at this
it's
thing.
a great baseball.
It's got all the stats. We got
teams I played for.
The Phillies, the Cubs, the Rangers, the Red Sox, the Rangers, then of course the Cubs again. It's got the records, the ERA, and all sorts of Hall of Fame 91, the Rangers Hall of Fame 2004, 3-time All-Star, Cy Young Award winner 71. It's just cool. It gives your whole career right here.
Right.
Your whole career shouldn't be able to be condensed on one ball though, Fergie. We need like a 3 case.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But you know, the nice thing about it is that my career lasted 18 years in the big leagues.
Right.
And I was very fortunate to stay healthy. I was on the DL one time in 21 seasons. The game is around health, really.
Yeah.
You got to take care of your body. If you don't play and stay on the field, you're not going to put the numbers up. So that's what it's all about. It's about the numbers, staying healthy, helping your ball club, propelling them from one division to the next.
Yeah.
And now the Cubs have been in first division. I hope they stay there for quite a while.
Still like watching the game, huh?
I do. I enjoy watching certain players.
Yeah.
You know, I just think that they understand the game. You know, Javier Baez, he now knows how to hit the ball the opposite way. I think he did before, but he thought he was a home run hitter.
Yeah.
But I think he's getting hits together. Rizzo's coming alive now.
Yeah.
Bryant. I mean, if these guys hit,
Yeah.
you're not going to stop them.
They're likable fellows too.
They are. They're very young.
Yeah.
And that's what the city needs. I mean, the city really turned out for them last year.
They
and
did.
I think they're capable of doing it again.
Well, they turned out for them, and I think that part of it was also like turning out for your generation that played and all the players before that. It was just, I think it was a whole Cub history thing.
Well, the Cubs have been here for a long time. You know, and I think that if you're a Cub player, you understand the history of the game. And I think that's why they love it so much. And the fans love to be a part of it. When you go to ballparks now, you see the following. It could be all blue for the Cubs. It's all red for the Cardinals. It's all red for Cincinnati. It's all yellow for Oakland. So, I mean, there's a following there. The marketing part of the game is what propels the game, I think.
Yeah, no doubt. Fergie, appreciate you coming in. Great to talk to you, and congrats again on your amazing career and all the success you've had.
Appreciate it. Thank you.